Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Happy holidays to everyone out there. I'm Kathleen, and if you're watching me live in the Animal Angel Connection Facebook group, welcome in. And you might also be catching the replay on YouTube at Mustang Mindset Messages. So I wanted to hop in here a little later than usual, but to share some animal wisdom for the week ahead. And right away, there's something that comes up that I'm going to be writing about in the Animal Empath Journal this week. And because it's been weighing a lot on my mind, I'm going to dive more into healing and grief and that sort of thing. And we have the snake spirit, which is saying it's time to heal. I didn't choose this card. It came out of the deck. But as far as I'm concerned, everybody on the planet needs healing. Life isn't easy, right? Let's face it. So whether it's trauma from childhood and there's inner child healing that's needed, or, whether there's grief, which, as I said, I'm going to be talking about, PTSD from various, situations that we've been through in life. It's time to heal, because what happens is when we don't work on ourselves, then these things can block us, right? It can drag us down, all the negative energy from the trauma or whatever. And this isn't to say that, we just snap our fingers and we completely forget about it. We just, grief isn't something we just completely forget about, as we've seen with a lot of what's going on in the world, and how I see people that are going through a tremendous amount of grief, and I think, life will never be the same for them. But we can certainly work on that energy and not let that grief or the trauma or whatever interfere with our life and our mission in life and what it is we're trying to achieve and how we want to impact people or make a difference in the world or whatever. So we need to heal, because otherwise we get stuck in fear. We get stuck, like I say, in the trauma, in belief systems, like I can't go down that path again because this might happen and, it might be traumatic, right? So these are the things we get past. We get past the resistance that's created in our life by the past trauma. And it holds us back. It keeps us stuck, and we can't move forward, which is something that I help with. Healing, clarity, purpose, finding balance. All these things are intertwined, especially for empaths, because we pick up on so much, not only the stuff that we're going through, right? The stuff that we've been through, but picking up on the trauma of others. So it can be really hard. We need to heal these things. We need to work on these things. And it's an ongoing process. There can be different layers and different levels. But certainly healing is definitely important. Now, it's interesting that these two cards literally fell out of the deck. We've got the crow. I think the crow came up recently. I keep seeing crows and ravens, especially in visuals, videos, and stuff. Co-create with spirit. So cards 2 and 3. We've got the crow, we've got the hawk, and they're saying very similar things. The hawk is saying, let spirit be your guide. And this is about getting into your intuition. Something that empaths have a very powerful intuition, but we lose sight of things. We don't trust it. It could be the trauma, right? It could be whatever it is we've been through before. Here's something I can say, for example, and having been in relationships and marriages with narcissists, we don't trust our own judgment, because we think, well, maybe, I felt I followed my heart. I followed my intuition before. And look what happened. But let me tell you something. There is a reason for everything. There's a reason why we go through what we go through. And if you look back, first of all, if you had known what you know now, would you have gone through that experience? No, you would have said, no, I didn't sign up for this. I don't want it. But we get lured in, and we're not supposed to know what we're going to go through, because it's actually something that's going to change us in the long run for the better, although it can seem really difficult, traumatic, whatever. But everything is a lesson, so we learn things. So even though you may have felt that your intuition led you astray before, like it is, that wasn't a good path to go down, I shouldn't listen to my intuition. Yes, you should, because there's various reasons why you're guided in that direction. Life isn't always meant to be rosy, right? It's rosy on the other side, not so rosy on this side. But that's why we come here, for that duality, for that contrast, for the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. We're here to experience all of it. So it's time to trust your intuition. And if you don't, book a call with me. If you're foggy, book a call with me. You'll find the link below. But the hawk says, let spirit be your guide. So you need to get back to trusting again, trusting in that intuition that brings in spirit, that brings in the guidance. And then you can co-create with spirit, as the crow says, co-create your life, knowing that you're not alone in this. There are unseen forces around you, well, both seen and unseen. And it's time to co-create and get that support you need, and to stop feeling like you're doing it all on your own, because you're not. Okay, so co-create with spirit. Let spirit be your guide. There's a lot here that it's trying to share with you, or that the animals are trying to share with you, about the unseen forces that exist that can help you on your journey. What I do is I help others, and empaths especially, to heal the stuff that's blocking their intuition and to tap back into it again, so that they can get the clarity and the direction that they need. So learning to reconnect, healing those blocks, that's what it's all about. I think a lot of us as adults, we're like still, it's almost like we go through all this trauma early on, then we spend the rest of our lives trying to heal from the trauma. And if we don't heal from it, we keep attracting in a lot of the same stuff over and over again, as a message that, hey, it's time to heal, right? It's time. So the snake in healing was message number 1 before we moved down to the hawk and the crow and the spirit. So again, healing, to open up your intuition, to open up that guidance that's there. And the skunk, this is so cute. The skunk says, know your worth. This is another piece that's absolutely integral for empaths, because we want to help so bad, we become people pleasers. We often don't take care of ourselves. And as a result, we don't know our worth. Our worth gets pounded into the ground, because if you're not loving yourself, you're sending yourself a message that says, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to eat when I'm hungry, and take a nap when I need to, and go get a massage if I need to. So knowing your worth is a big part of really treating yourself right, having the strength, having that power to do what you need in the world, because otherwise, as I've said over and over again, you can't give from an empty vessel. So when we do our healing work, and it shouldn't be work, let's say play, you know, there's so many techniques for it, you know, and I use life coaching and hypnotherapy and intuitive guidance and animal wisdom and energy healing. And then we can, you know, really get through those heavy layers that are really blocking us. It's like that shell, you know, we put up a shell around ourselves. And then the guidance can't penetrate, you know, the guidance that we need can't get through the shell if we are really stuck with that trauma that hasn't been worked through. Okay, so we got to work on our stuff. Then we can co-create, but you do need to know your worth. And taking that step towards healing is really a great way of telling yourself you're worth it. You know, I'm worth it enough to go to work on myself, do my healing. And it's a daily thing of, you know, letting go, journaling, getting some guidance, getting some insight. I always say we can't read the label when we're inside the jar, right? Because we're too close. The label's on the outside. We're trying to read it from the inside. And it's important to get insight, external insight that's going to help you get the clarity you need, because it's hard to get the clarity from inside the jar. Now, when we do these things, when we heal, when we co-create, when we tap back into our intuition, when we know our worth, right? Freedom is ours. We've got the horse here, and I was just, here comes the horse, and I was just posting a video earlier because I was visiting some horses at a local rescue where they do healing work with vets, by the way. So when we heal, when we co-create, when we know our worth, the freedom is ours. The freedom is ours to create the path that's in alignment with who we are, to be authentic to who we are, and to have that power to help others in the most effective way without burning out. That's the key term. You're going to burn out if you have that shell and you're not healing and you're spinning your wheels and you're not listening to your intuition, and it all goes around in circles and it's exhausting. And then you find yourself in that trap where you're not free. It's like a bird in a cage, right? Two birds here. It's like you're a bird in a cage. You're not free. So, yeah, freedom becomes yours when you do these things. So feel free to watch this video again. Really tune in. These are important messages. And again, I randomly pick these cards, and that's what came up for this week. So important for this Christmas week, whether you celebrate it or not, for the upcoming new year, because so many of us want to start off on the right foot. Again, book a call with me. There's a complimentary clarity and purpose call. I'll share an animal message with you, and let's talk about where you're stuck, what your dreams are. Do you know what your dreams are? Are you in alignment with your dreams? These are all important to start off the new year right. So anyway, thank you for tuning in, beautiful souls. Would love to hear from you. Share your comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Also, please like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Anyway, thank you again. Have an awesome week, and I'll probably be popping back in again. Bye for now.